YouTubers, I'm Emma Jane, your life coach on the couch, coming to you from Reboot Your Life. And for those of you that follow my blog or follow my Facebook page, you'll know that I'm not just a life coach, I'm also a spiritual guide. And I practice something called seasonal spirituality, which is basically celebrating the turning of the wheel, turning of the year, and connecting my personal growth with that natural flow, with nature's flow. And because I've been asked quite a lot about this, I thought I'd start to make a series of videos explaining that. And starting particularly here, because on the 22nd of December 2019, it's going to be the Winter Solstice, which is one of the most important times of the year for me in my celebration of seasons, changes, and celebration of nature. So the Winter Solstice is one of 4 solar events that happen every year. And you can see this wheel up above me. This is something that we call a sun wheel, and it's something that you find in Nordic artwork from the Stone Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age and Viking Age. And it's basically a symbol, or at least I understand it to be a symbol of the 4 solar festivals. So you have Winter Solstice at the top, Summer Solstice at the bottom, on this side Spring Equinox, and on this side Autumn Equinox. And I'll do some videos about the other 3 points of the year, the solar events of the year, as and when they come up throughout the wheel. But this one is the Winter Solstice. So what is the Winter Solstice? Well, basically this is the longest night of the year. You might have noticed at this time of year that it's dark way into the morning and it gets dark really, really early in the evening. And that's because we're getting to the point where the sun has gone as far as it can go. And on the 22nd, here in 2019, 22nd of December, when the sun sets, we're going to have our longest period of darkness that we will have had throughout the entire year. And then from sunrise on the 23rd, we'll start to get a little bit more light every day. So you can say here in the middle of the winter is the birth of the summer sun. And I think that's really magical. And this is something that our ancestors used to celebrate. They used to celebrate it through feasting. They would stay awake on the night to watch the winter sunrise on the 23rd, or whichever day it fell close to then. And they would celebrate this evening by telling stories, by feasting. And some people believe this is where we get the foundation of modern day Christmas as well. It's a really magical time of year. Now you might be wondering, why is this important to me as a 21st century person? Because obviously my life is not as dependent on agriculture as it was 1,000 years ago. You know, we do still depend on agriculture, but we're not having to fight for our survival. We don't have to watch the weather as much because there's different technologies providing the food for us throughout the entire year. But for me, Winter Solstice is not just about observing the farming calendar and observing nature to come. It's also about connecting with the energy at this time of year. And for one thing, for me, this energy at this time of year is about celebrating the people in my life, celebrating the light in my life, celebrating the joy in my life. So this is a time of year where I look at the unseen gifts in my life and thank and spend time and honour the people that bring me those gifts. And also a time where I honour the gifts in my own life too, the gifts that I give to people. And you can go over and watch the video, The Unseen Gifts in Our Lives, because I've done a little bit video about that process. So if you'd like to look at that and reflect on that, then you're more than welcome to do that. The other thing I think for me that Winter Solstice really shows me is that everything is transient. You know, no matter what, we follow this rhythm within the planet. We follow this rhythm within our lives, but the darkest of times don't continue. That's one of the really important messages of Winter Solstice for me, is that yes, we're going to get to that point where we really, really, really feel like we can't cope anymore. And then at that point, there's a break, a pause, and then the sun begins to come back again. So it's a time where I know that no matter how bad things can be, Winter Solstice always reminds me that the light is going to return, that things are going to get better, and every state in life is purely transient. There's lots of other different beliefs that are attached to Winter Solstice. In the pagan calendar, this is often seen as the birth of the sun god, you know, with the new sun being rising. And I find that I like to interpret that as connecting with my inner child, reconnecting with my youthful joys. So I will spend one day over the winter holidays where I will have a full inner child day. I'll build a pillow fort. I will do things that I used to love as a child just to get back in contact with that fresh energy. And I find it brings me back into connection with the flow of life that's coming back into nature around. And of course, I celebrate it by spending a lot of time in nature. And if my schedule's not too busy, then I will always try and see the sunset and the sunrise at winter solstice. If you're watching this video later than 2019, if you're not sure when the solstice is, it usually falls somewhere between the 20th and the 22nd, or the 21st and the 22nd of December. But go and ask Google, because Google will be able to tell you when the summer solstice, sunrise and sunset are. Summer solstice? Winter solstice, sunrise and sunset are in your part of the world. It's a really magical time to take stock, to celebrate our lives, and to remember that things are transient. I hope that explains a little bit. You find it interesting. If you'd like to see more videos about seasonal spirituality and the different points in the Wheel of Year, then let me know in the comments below. And if you've got questions, please ask, because I'm happy to answer them. I hope you have a magical winter solstice and that the coming light lights up your lives and reminds you that things are transient, life moves on, and better things are going to come, like this summer, 6 months from now. So take care, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, come over to Reroute Your Life on Facebook and follow me there, and I'll see you next Wednesday.